Hey guys, welcome to the tech capital of the world. My name is Bobby Davis. I'm here in the beautiful Kernersville, North Carolina. It's a beautiful day here. Kevin, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Good.
You getting ready for lunch day, July 4th?
I'm. I'm.
Having a little
I'm well,
party?
no, no, not really. We're gonna do a cookout on July 4th. Well, on the 4th falls on a Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we might do a cookout Sunday, Monday. Not
Okay.
sure yet. What about you?
I got doing a cookout, or I'm
Are
going to
you?
one. I'm not making one.
Oh, even better.
So I like arriving and just eating hot
Oh,
dogs.
I
So
like
that's
that. I
that's
like that a lot.
good.
No, I'm just gonna bust out the grill. We have a grill out back. I'll do that and
Yeah.
throw some stuff in it. No, no big things. Prepping for the 6th, really, right? I mean,
Yeah.
for the real
Yeah, lunch
holiday.
day is the 6th, Tuesday, National
That's
Fried
the
Chicken
real
Day,
holiday.
Taco Tuesday. There's a lot going on. So
Yeah.
So
So yeah,
we're
we're looking
excited
forward
about
to
that.
that. Definitely,
So a lot of
definitely.
people in there asking questions. We'll get to your questions here in a little bit. If you want to ask about our course that's coming around the stop, someone's asking courses about pricing, that kind of stuff. We won't spend our whole time on the course. We do like to offer value here. We're not just totally shilling for our self-paced course, though. We do believe it's going to give you lots of value. We want to add value here. The one thing that I wanted to break into real quick was um, the most important thing that happened yesterday in my world was the whole Destiny cheater ban. I mean, like, I thought that was just
Yeah, yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. I saw that. Hold
So,
on, I got it.
so
I got it here. Look. Um,
yeah. So
ban
this
ban
guy is a
content
content
creators.
creator, Bakken, and he basically look at this tweet right here. Look at this thing. He says just got banned for the second time with no explanation. It's kind of ridiculous. I like some people at Bungie to look into it. There's no way I got banned when I see mad cheaters playing for months.
And
Now
he's like
people
one of
do
the
cheat
big
on
guys,
Destiny.
right? He's one of the big
He's the
guys in the
big one.
community, right? Okay.
Yeah, in fact, he has the most watched Destiny video of like 2.5 million views.
Okay.
And then they said, "Hey, you know what? You need to like check into our banning policies." So the guy's trying to be nice here. Bans are not issued without reason. We're not calling you out. Team has validated that multiple times, and anti-cheat detection investigation. So
Yeah.
he's just being kind of thing. And then he has to press it. Look at this. I see proof. And then he
Oh,
just
that's
lays the
funny.
hammer down. Well, see, the thing is
I
about
like
this
this
is
one.
like Bakken, yeah, Bakken should have said, "I'd like to see proof." Well, they're cheating or not. And then
Right.
apparently he really is a cheater, and like he's running aimbots or whatever.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
so
nuts.
I just thought it was funny. They just went after a content creator, man. It wasn't just a random guy.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I
So
mean, these days, the content creators for video games, they drive the community, don't they? It's like, and if
yeah,
you're, it's kind of like that person is repping your brand, like whether you like it or
exactly.
not. Like that
Yeah,
person is like repping kind of Bungie and Destiny, and if that person finds out
right.
to be cheating, it's like that puts a whole like terrible spin on
I
the
know.
brand. So I
All I
guess
can
yeah, it
say,
makes
Kevin,
sense.
if you take my last raid endeavor, we know that I'm not cheating. We can definitively say that I'm not risk of ever being banned.
That's funny. That's the same as me on Warzone. Like I'm never ever going to be accused of cheating. I'm never ever going to be accused of cheating. It's just not possible.
Yeah.
Like, oh, those 2 kills you got, you must be cheating. Like, hold on a minute. Like,
Yeah, I was using the aimbot.
like
I'm using aimbots to get my 2 kills. So like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm not getting banned. Anyway, I
yeah.
thought that was kind of funny.
That
But I
is
did want to talk a little bit about .NET and just some evidence and things. I've been talking to customers lately over the last couple of days, and these customers are adopting .NET 6, which I just find really curious because .NET 6 is in preview. And so, like when we
right.
release our course is going to go .NET 5 obviously now, but we're already working on the .NET 6 version. We should have all of that complete by year's end, so that when it does roll out in November, we should be ready to roll for you. So that's this is a technical page. That's technical right there, Kevin.
Yeah, it's just
But
well,
like, look at
it's a lot of stuff on here. Yeah, yeah. But it tells you the different
yeah,
versions you can get and stuff and whatever, the
yeah.
different
So it's
languages it's
running on the
supported.
different arms. It's running on the different things. But a lot of people that I'm talking to now are adopting .NET 6. And before people go to sleep on this, and you don't really know how the industry is really shaped and moved, here's a couple of things I want people to consider when they're going on their learning journey, and why I want you to learn .NET right now, whether that is with us or someone else. I think it's going to be huge in the next year. Number one, both of these customers are adopting Blazor.
Okay.
And one of them is adopting Blazor for the desktop. So
Okay.
and then we have other customers that are also utilizing Blazor. So what I've been saying was, when I first saw Blazor, I'm like, hey man, that's really cool. That's neat. I can't wait. And it gets themed out and says, people think, oh, you just hate JavaScript. Well, that's not the case. I don't really hate any language. I just use kind of what I need to do. And if you're building websites right now, you need to use JavaScript. But it's not just replacing JavaScript. It's about targeting. Like right now, Jason, one of our the teachers here at Foundry, has an app running in Blazor from the same Visual Studio instance running at the same time as you push play, and it does a build on iOS, Mac OS, desktop. The same Blazor app running simultaneously on all three of those different platforms, and also in an Android emulator. So all four of them. So when you see that, you're like, okay, this has legs. This is gonna move the needle for a lot of companies. So then when we look at .NET 6 and you go to preview 4, and I think you've got that blog, they have these 8 themes that Microsoft is trying to push out. And I'm not like this Microsoft total fanboy, but their number one theme is, can we make this appeal to students and developers? And so they're making this easier, streamlined experiences to do. And so and you can see that where when you get into Visual Studio and you hit a file new project and you start it up, these experiences just kind of come out of the box with everything already to go.
Yeah, that
so that's number one. I mean, like when you see .NET 5, even just .NET 5, you start up a project and you already have security built in, you have routing built in, you have your view engine built in, your templating engine, your ORM is built in, and then you tack on things like NuGet, which all your package manager is all built in. It just makes you extremely, extremely productive.
I told you the first time that I saw that, it felt like magic.
Yeah, you watch someone build out a Django app online. You say, it's a Django professional developer, and he's building all of this stuff before he builds the app. And you're like, dude, I could do that in Visual Studio in like 3 minutes. I mean, it's just super powerful in what they're trying to do. Second, they just hit a $2 trillion valuation, Microsoft.
Wow.
And so they're going to have the money to be able to invest in all of these things. Whereas some people are trying to make a framework, these guys are trying to make an entire ecosystem. And so now delivering this cross-platform app, what I talk about, what Jason was doing, is true. You can get desktop, mobile, web, and you build those apps with web development. So web developers can target these things with Blazor using HTML and CSS and JavaScript and Blazor. And that's kind of very powerful. And these are running as PWAs on the mobile devices, and it's running as a native app on Windows. And then, so it's super, super powerful. The third thing I think in there that if I want to go there, and one other big thing is their commitment to the enterprise. And I can't underestimate this. They are going to make sure that long-term support to the enterprise is a key value for what Microsoft is trying to do. Okay, and they're going to target to the needs of enterprise and government customers.
Hold on, but enterprise is boring.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like I'll get if I want an enterprise job, that's soul crushing. I want to go work for a startup, until they can't make payroll. That's soul crushing. So
pocket crushing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's so bad though, the way tech Twitter kind of operates sometimes. I was reading on LinkedIn this morning, and a lady wrote, it was like 6 paragraphs on LinkedIn about her job search as a junior developer. Yeah. And in the first paragraph, she almost apologizes for not getting a FANG job. And it's like, we've engineered this whole ecosystem in the learn to code market around getting a job at Google. So if in other words, if you leave Foundry and you don't get a job at Google, somehow
it's a failure. Yeah.
Where it's a failure, and then we have the entire interview process, all of the advice that people give. And it's just this ecosystem of people talking it over and over again. Whereas I was talking to a guy that's a content creator, and I'm not going to say his name because he's pretty popular, but he wasn't working as a dev yet, but has a tech channel, wasn't working as a dev. His entire education process was built around data structures and algorithms. That's the entire thing that he knows that he's doing because he wants to work at one of these FANG companies. So he's studying for the interview.
Yeah.
And I just think like that's so bad. Like,
well, it's
like
very,
why are you doing that?
That's okay if you want to do that. Like, but you are going to pigeonhole yourself into that one thing. Like,
well, that
it is a very strict process.
I don't know if you're going to win the role that way, you know? And so like, it's not that those things are irrelevant, but at the end of the day, you know, you actually have to know how to build a website or a desktop app or a mobile app to get these jobs. I mean, like, so let's just face it, you know, like knowing bubble sort or, you know, link lists and all those kind of questions that you might get is great. It's fantastic. But if you just need to build an inventory control app with MVC or React or whatever, you got to know those things before these other things, I think, you know? So like, that's why when we look at this, what Microsoft is doing is building tooling and things around all of this and making strategic investments to make the building things easier to do. And I want you to look at this too. Not only does Microsoft own the best IDEs on the planet, which means they can influence the way we write code, the way the developers write code, they also own GitHub. They also own LinkedIn. I mean, like, and it's not that they're the behemoth. It's just that they're going to be just a strategic influencer in all of these clients and customers. And so while you can write and build your whole career around getting a FANG job, which Microsoft's not even in that. I don't know why. Netflix, it should be Famagang or whatever. Something like that. We need to get M in there.
Slap an M in there somewhere. Yeah, Fam.
Where you put it. So, but you know, we shouldn't be learning on an interview process. We should be learning how to build things. And I think that's what our whole strategic vision here as a Coder Foundry is, teaching people how to build things, not learning how to technically pass this interview. And it's not that you can't pass that interview. We have people work at Microsoft. We have people that went on just recently, went to Dell and worked at a large company there doing things. So I think all of those things are important. It's just that building the things is the job. That's the most important skill. It's not like, you know, navigating a node list or a linked list or answering some obscure algorithm array, you know.
Right.
Do you need to know about recursion? Yes. Should you be able to solve every recursion thing on the whiteboard at the drop of a hat? I don't know if that's even practical. I mean, like, how many times do you do that? Like, but could you should you be able to crank out a website with, you know, 15 CRUD pages, know how to put models together and design a database? Yes. I think that's way more important.
That's that's more useful.
And that's what we're going to teach at our self-paced course, and we can do that. But what I'm saying is, if you're picking what you want to learn, I think Microsoft is the way that you should be looking at, because they are going to definitely influence this market. One of the other thing in the preview things, their themes was building it cloud native, which is a really easy way to say, like, we want to architect this on Azure. So you know, so like, but that's the way people are building apps, either on AWS or Azure, because it makes a lot of sense in how that works. And so now all of their tooling, because everyone's using their tooling anyway, is going to be shaped and kind of made sure that it works well in these cloud native apps. And that's, to me, all of those things putting together, addition to .NET 4.6 going out of support, which is what's going to drive the enterprise to adopt new projects, which means new budgets. And what does new budgets equal, Kevin? Jobs.
Yep.
And that's all we care about here at Coder Foundry, is getting a job. I mean, like, we want you to get a job. I mean, so anyway, that's my rant for the day on Microsoft. So like, I'm kind of like motivated about .NET 6. It's really going to move the needle. I feel like I'm pitching like the next GameStop stock or something. You know, buy now, get in early.
Well, my takeaway from your story was like the fact that you're talking to actual legit companies now that are like, yeah, we want to build our next thing on .NET 6. .NET 6 being in preview still.
They're like,
we want to build it even though it's still in preview. And here's why they can do that. because they know that Microsoft is 100% all in on this. This is not like a preview that's going to be like, that's going to peter out and like not happen. Or it's like some open source software that like you're taking a gamble on doing, which has historically been the way. This is it. This is like, you might as well jump in early and get your feet wet with it and start building on this thing, because it's going to be there. And like you said, the other one's going away. The 4.6 is going to get deprecated. So it's like you ultimately got to. So
the companies are going to move to it, which means it's going to give you more opportunities as a developer. And I think even as a junior dev, if you bring in .NET 5 skills or .NET 6 skills into the market next year, you can get hired based on that alone. I mean, like, you know, like if you can demonstrate what you have. Obviously, you can't take, if you're a junior dev and start .NET 6 on a Friday and get a job on Monday.
Right.
I get that. You know, that's not what we're talking about. We're saying that you're going to have to spend a significant amount of time learning this. And that's why you should start learning right now. You can't do it in a weekend if you don't know how to code. But you can start pushing yourself into that direction right now and doing it. And it's crazy when we see these things. People, I guess .NET 6 isn't that big of a deal socially on Twitter.
Right.
When
you don't
it's
see
like
people talking
a
about
movement
it.
across the enterprise. It's like the Dow versus like the GameStop stock. You know, GameStop would be kind of like when you're looking at Dino, one individual thing comes out of someone released a framework and the world goes crazy. You know, it's like, you know, like this is going to move the needle, people. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But like, there's a lot of people going to be using it maybe, but how many people are working on that compared to how many people are working on .NET? It's like, it's a $2 trillion company that's going to influence the tooling, the platforms, the language, the methodologies. It's everything. They're talking to everybody in the C-suite at every company in the US. I mean, like, it's going to win, man. You know? And so like what I want people to do is to jump on this train, learn .NET now, so that they can participate in this, what I call the economic mobilizer of our time. And yes, React's going to win too. I get it. It's just going to be dramatically smaller.
Right.
Way more competition for smaller and smaller amounts of jobs. However, having said that, when you look at Web API and the things they're going to do with .NET 6 coming out, that does fit nicely with things like a front-end framework like React or like Angular. But their answer to that is Blazor. So they're saying like, okay, Facebook has their front-end framework. Google has their front-end framework. We do too. Ours is called Blazor.
Right.
And guess what you can do with ours? You can push it to the desktop. You can push it to mobile. You can push it. It's going to be cloud. You can push it everywhere. And can yours do that? No, it can't. You know, so like.
And here's a related question to that. So, here said, spent 30 hours working on Blazor Server. I have a feeling it's the best of both worlds. Client responsiveness and server-side validation. Do you think it will replace MVC in the near future?
I would say the near future being 2 to 3 years. And the answer is yes. And the reason I say this is because when you hear Microsoft talk, they talk about MVC and they're like, oh, you can build this in MVC. And then they'll say this little keyword. And this is like when people say dog whistles, you know, like you need a little hint what they're saying without them saying it. Because what they say it blows up. They'll say, so when you're building modern web applications, and then they start showing Blazor.
Right.
You know, it's like, you know, like, it's so like they're telling you that they believe Blazor is the way you build a modern web app, because they're taking Blazor and it's like, not only can you build web, you can build desktop, you can build mobile, you can do all these things. And there are 2 different products right now. There is a server side Blazor, and then there's a pure client side, or called the WebAssembly side of Blazor. Both of those are being, people are looking at both of those things. So, and you can do it both ways that you want to do it, but it's just that it is sick. It is cool, as he says. It's sick. It's pretty slick. And I think people are going to adopt it, and I think you'll see a lot of adoption next year. As soon as this thing hits the market, you're going to start people moving over to it. It's really slick.
Cool.
All right, cool.
One quick holiday notice. You know, it's Canada Day today.
It's Canada Day today. Okay.
So to all our Canadian friends on here, including Princess, happy Canada Day.
Yeah.
It is an anniversary. It's so they get a federal holiday. anniversary of the Canadian Confederation from 1867.
Cool.
So there you go. Very cool. Happy
So
Canada.
that's their equivalent to our July 4th. Is that what it is?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
You could school us on that in chat there.
So how is England today since they won and they beat Germany? Is that a big deal?
Amazing. Is it a big deal?
Okay.
Sorry to any Germans that are here, if there are any. But yeah, it was great. It was awesome. I watched this. So we jumped off on Tuesday. I watched the second half. There was 0-0 at half time, so I didn't miss anything in the first half.
Right.
It was great. We scored the first goal 60-something minutes in, and I was like, oh man, now we just got to hang on. And it's like watching the next 20 minutes was like torture. And then we scored again.
That's the way soccer is. I mean, or football, you know how you say it.
Exactly. And then we scored again. So I was like, that's it. Done deal. We've won. That's it. We won. And I was pretty happy about it. Yes, it was a very, very good day. Winning just... Okay, so we haven't beat Germany in a knockout football game since 1966 when we won the World Cup. There have been 3 other games since then in knockout football, World Cup or Euros, and we've lost every time. So it's about time we actually won one in the... We beat them before, but not in an actual competition, a knockout competition.
Right.
So in a knockout game. So it was a pretty big deal. It's the equivalent of winning the whole thing, to be honest.
Do you think they'll win the whole thing now? What's your prediction?
I think we go to the final for sure against Spain.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Cool.
We have a fairly easy route, so easier than the other side. So yeah, I'm hoping so.
Beat Germany, so now you've knocked them out. So now you've got over your hurdle, so we're ready to
Exactly. Some big teams went out. So yeah, France went out, who were the hot favorites. So that's a team you don't have to play. So that's great. So yeah, look, the WizG here says, congratulations, is it coming home? It is coming home. Football is coming. That's our kind of theme song and motto, by the way, too.
Yeah.
It's coming home because we kind of created it. So,
all right, cool. Well, let's ask some questions about the course. We know that's coming out Tuesday. I know you have lots of questions. We'll answer anything about it.
Yes.
Also, anything else about your job search, anything about coding? Just ask us anything. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a burning question, just super chat Kevin. He'll queue them up. And buy some tacos today if you want to. We always up for some free tacos.
We always appreciate that. Actually, one thing first. There was a couple of sales yesterday. Let's talk about two quick things. A couple of sales yesterday that we found interesting in the news. So that NFT we talked about for the internet sold for 5.4 million yesterday. I was like, that's kind of crazy.
That's insanity.
Isn't it insane? I was like, wow, okay, I just need to put an NFT out there. Apparently, it was something. But that wasn't even the biggest thing that sold yesterday.
Big.
That wasn't even a big deal.
Change,
that's
Kevin.
chump change compared to the 1.8 billion acquisition of Stack Overflow. 1.8
And what is Stack Overflow built on, Kevin?
I believe that is .NET.
.NET, baby. So,
kind of crazy, right? I mean,
a lot of people say, yeah, but what's built with .NET? No one builds anything with it. Stack Overflow says hello. I mean, like when you sell your .NET app for 1.8 billion, that's like dropping the mic, picking it up, and then throwing it down. I mean, like it's just like, that's pretty legit right there.
I wonder what they do with it. I mean, obviously that value is kind of nuts. But it is the de facto sort of like it is a definite monopoly on coder knowledge. Like there's no other place that you would say that is like comes to top of mind when you mean like like a Google something. It's on the first 1 or 2 results every single time you try and search for something.
Yeah, I would imagine
there's a reason
people,
for that.
For the most part, don't really Google that anymore. They just go to Stack Overflow,
right?
Search.
Right, they Google it, but it's just
Yeah, so like I mean, as far as like owning coders' hearts and minds, they have it. Yep. It's crazy. I mean, like it's insane. I'm surprised Microsoft didn't get in on that action. So.
Right. Yeah, I'm surprised. I am too. That's kind of interesting. So yeah, those are
the
two
big
big
sales.
To
$2 trillion. What's another $2 billion? We've got a couple of bills.
Right. Exactly. Hold on. I just have to address one thing real quick. I thought you were from the US. Don't get we. I am definitely a we. I am definitely from England. I spent half my life there. I was born there, and it's still I still hold a UK passport, which I just had to renew.
Okay.
I am not in the US. So I get to say we.
That's it, baby.
Okay. Let's do some questions. The first one's about course pricing. So Tim wants to know, I want to buy the course at the early pricing, but I won't have time to study it hardcore till maybe 2022. Can I buy the course now and activate it later? And unfortunately, you cannot. You can buy it now and not use it.
Yeah.
And I would suggest if you do plan on doing it, genuinely, if you do plan on doing it, do it that way because it will save you money. You'll rack up the $229 in just over 2 months if you pay. When we go live, we're going to $99 a month. So you'll rack that up in just over a couple of months. So 3 months in, and you're already over that price. So, I mean, if it was me, I would buy it for the lower price. But you can't activate it later, unfortunately. And we can't run the sale forever.
Yeah, we can't be on sale forever. So, like,
we're not Kohl's. If you're in the US, you'll notice that Kohl's, everything is on sale always. We're definitely not Kohl's. I can guarantee you that. We're not Udemy.
Yeah, the coupon's always there. There's always a coupon or something.
We are not Udemy either. Like, it's the same kind of thing, right? You go to Udemy, it's like it's always on sale, and you know not to buy it at the full price. We are not going to be that. I can guarantee it.
And Tim, here's what I want you to think about. It is a course, sort of. It's really our entire boot camp. So, like, when you look at a course, if you're comparing it to a .NET course, that .NET course isn't going to be as kind of comprehensive as this is. When you start seeing it, you'll see what we're talking about. We have large modules around tooling. We have things around Git. We have things around JavaScript, things around HTML, and C# with multiple projects in it. And so for most courses that you can buy from Udemy, you'll build maybe a project. But I promise you that once you build the bug tracker, there isn't a course that you can buy that will build something as comprehensive as the bug tracker. This is like enterprise grade software. So, like, there's a lot to these projects, and that's why it takes us several months to get you up to that level to where you can understand everything that we're talking about inside the bug tracker so you can build it. So that's why it's worth $229 a year, which is 12. What is that per month? $12,
like $12,
$21, or whatever it is. But like $21. So, like, I should be able to do better math. I think it's a good deal right now if you want to do it. Second thing is, we're going to add mobile. We're going to add .NET 6. We're going to add desktop. All of these things are coming down the pipe. And once you're in it, it's just that you own the entire platform, all of our catalog, everything that we release later. So as your career grows, we hope that you stay with us so that we can help you with all the learning things that you want to do. So it's a pretty good deal, I think. And then it's going to go to $99 a month. Our in-person boot camp is $15,000, which we sell out every single time because people want access to not only the curriculum, but also the instructors. So that's why it's always going to be $99. That's just the way, that's the bare minimum price that we're going to sell it at. So once that goes off, it'll stay at $99.
MSV wants to know for the next Pluralsight.
MSV, if internally, I want it to be, but we'll see. That is a goal, but like, that's lofty goals. Those are in the stratosphere. So like when you say, where do you want to be in 5 years? That's what I would say if someone asked me privately. But like, what we have a lot of work ahead of us to even like claim that. So right now we're just trying to get the first version out next week so that you can enjoy what we have. And then if we become really good content creators and you're enjoying our content and we do a good job with it, well, maybe that is something that we can aspire to.
Yeah.
But if we can just serve you guys that put your faith and trust in us with your time and effort and money, I think we'll be happy with that for right now.
Yep.
So
that's it. That's the plan.
Yeah, we're trying to do it.
Larry wants to know, can't wait to buy the course. Was there going to be a Q&A section like Udemy? So we have
I can look and see what we're going to do. We're going to do Discord.
So we have a few things. There's going to be a few options as far as support goes. There's going to be technically 3 things. One of them being Discord, which we have a Discord server up and running, and you can link that down below.
Oh, thanks, Austin.
Thank you, Austin. I'll come to your question in a second here. So you can link that down below. So that's one place. The second is going to be, we're going to have weekly webinars with an instructor over Zoom. So you'll be able to join that. And we are going to do a Q&A portion in that. Obviously, we don't guarantee answers to questions on either of those things, really. It's not going to be guaranteed. And then the third thing is, throughout the course, at the bottom of every page is going to be a little section that says questions. and you can type your question there, just like you can in Udemy, where there's sort of like the question is contextual to the step that you're on. Same kind of thing. You're going to be able to put your question there. It's going to be public. You're going to be able to see the questions and answers that have been put there. So I guess, yes, kind of like the Q&A section in Udemy, that will be built into the course. But obviously, it takes some people to go through it and ask those questions first before that's built in, obviously.
Yeah, so like right now, and so what we're going to do, Larry, is our platform will also grow. So like what we're thinking of is once this gets out there in the hands over the next 30 to 90 days, we're going to get probably every question that we could possibly get of maybe we have an oversight, maybe we have something wrong with it, or maybe we need to do that. And how we're going to address that is at the top of the courseware, you'll see an addendum section, a lot of them, and we'll add maybe additional videos. And so, or even documentation, we may change the documentation, maybe written or whatever. And then if we get enough addendums in a particular video or particular course, we'll just re-record, include all that new content in there and push it out. So we have control over our platform, so we don't have to approve anything with a platform vendor or anything like that. We can directly submit it. That allows us to be way more flexible and a lot more attentive to what's going on because, hey, guess what? In our in-person bootcamp, our students are coming through the course as well, and they also have access to the platform. So we'll get real-time feedback from our students as well as the questions that we encounter with them. We're like, oh, okay, that's good. Maybe we'll add that to the learning platform so that you can, if you're looking at night and you need to relearn something that we've taught earlier in the day, you can go to the self-paced course and go look at it. So I don't know. So that's how we're going to address it. We're going to try to be as attentive as possible. We cannot offer the same level of support that we do in our full-time boot camp. That's why it's $15,000. I mean, so like we have instructors there 8 hours a day, 5 days a week.
We don't employ. I'm going to say we don't employ scrubby instructors. Just going to throw it out there. It's like
exactly. They're expensive. So,
exactly, they're not cheap. So you gotta, that's how it works. These guys could be off making, developer money. So you gotta draw them in, and that's how it works.
Yeah. So we hope that that five. So let's look at that super chat there and see what his question was.
Yeah. So Austin wants to know, and thank you for the super chat, Austin. Says, I want to apply to a web dev agency. I have experience with Angular and know people from there. That's okay. Awesome. That would refer me, but Bobby sold me on .NET. Any ideas? Thanks. I know your advice here, and it's going to be good.
You know what I'm going to say.
I know what you're going to say.
It's in the book. So take the first job. So like if you get an offer to do coding and they're going to pay you real money and you do it in Angular, go do that job. Okay. And then learn .NET on the side. And then maybe that next job is the job that you can do .NET with. I think you should learn .NET, but not at the expense of not working. I mean, like, yeah, if you want to come to our bootcamp and take 3 months off to tool up, that's different than turning down a job to learn something else. I think if you can get a job and and you have experience in that at the web development agency, do Angular, man. Just do it, get paid, and learn .NET with something like our self-paced course or other videos or other Udemy, and build projects on that. And then the next job would be in .NET. So don't turn down real payment. Get a paycheck.
There you go. Let me see. Yardlius has a question. Says, what does web services really mean? What is it for, and how to think about it in your own project and when you deal with companies?
So web services, in general, we're talking about the term right now is web API. So basically, a web service is something you call with a URL, like it would be like home/get products would be like a URL. That web service would return that answer in the form of something like JSON or XML. And then it's up to the developer to consume that JSON XML to make sense of it. So typically a web service does not return a view, something that you can explore and see. It returns data that you integrate into other apps. So that's kind of what it does. And a lot of people are building out their service layer on the cloud with either a microservice architecture or monolith services. They're building that on the back end so that they can be agnostic to the front end, which means I could push this data to a mobile app. I could push it to a website. I could push it to a desktop. So those services just return data. And either typically with RESTful services, JSON. With older services like what you call web services, SOAP, we return XML. But typically right now, that's JSON. Hope that helps. Let's go look at our super chat there. Thank you.
Yeah,
we have enough to eat now.
Chris,
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. That's $24.99. That's awesome. Thank you.
We get the burrito special plate now. So that's awesome.
Now we can get double tacos. Man, I'm going for like chicken tacos now. Like it's like high end stuff. So Chris wants to know, where do we buy a signed copy of the book, showing that the portfolio should land me a management job at a founding company with no experience, right? I can answer that one, Chris. No.
So if you have a signed copy of my book and you show it at your Amazon interview, say, dude, I've got the signed book. Let me in.
Yeah. Maybe the Microsoft interview. Maybe the Microsoft interview, because they'll be like, "Oh, Bobby Davis. Oh yeah, come on in.
Come on in.
You got a signed Bobby. Okay, come on in."
So maybe if they ever make me an MVP or something like that, which you have to be recommended from the company, maybe I can have some sway with them, but I'm not there yet. So like,
I don't know.
I think that's hilarious.
We know Scott. We can put a word in for you there.
Yeah, he can put a word in for me. Like, hey, recommend me, man. So
that's funny.
I think I got to do some more stuff.
We don't actually sell signed copies of the books. We've never sold a signed copy of the book, have we?
No.
It's not something we've done. We may set up a site at some point, because we do have
where you could buy it, and I would sign. I don't mind signing them, and I don't mind sending them out. So so I've got several that we gave away the other day. So like I need to sign those.
Yeah, we've basically done that. Every single signed one that's out there has been a giveaway. We've never actually sold any.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do that at some point. Just got to set up an
we'd have to set up
fulfillment,
a site,
and it's like
it's kind of hard.
It's a whole thing to have to take care of. But Chris, thank you very much for the super chat.
Thanks, Chris.
Very much appreciate it. We're going to my next question here from Big Alt. So Blazor versus Xamarin versus Maui. I know Maui is taking over Xamarin, but what about Blazor? Seems like Blazor and Maui, are doing the same thing. A bit confusing. I agree. It does.
Yeah, I'm going to probably do a lot of videos on this, and I do think it is a little bit confusing.
Yeah.
And let us sort it out. They're basically going to be different project types inside of Visual Studio, and one of the Blazor project types, you're building your front end with web tools like HTML, CSS, and then there's also going to be some other ones where you're building the front end in Xamarin. So I think that's amazing. I mean, so like, anyways. Alantino, thanks for the super chat, man.
Antonio,
all right, cool.
Alantino, my friend, thank you. We'll come back to you in a second.
Yeah, come back in a second. So maybe I'll do a deep dive into that as that kind of shakes out, and then show you kind of the difference between the two projects. I'll probably do a video on that. Maybe we'll do a live shot on that.
I think we should. I think that is confusing. Yeah,
it's a little bit confusing. So Xamarin is being, basically what this is .NET 5 is a unification of .NET, okay? Xamarin wasn't included in .NET 5 in that unification. So now in .NET 6, Xamarin is now being rolled into that. So now we have one .NET that you can build lots of things with. Part of that is Maui, which is, I think this is going to be the name of what Xamarin used to be called Xamarin.
Okay.
So which just means you're building XAML on the front end, and then you can roll that out to multiple targets. So the thing that we have running today is a Blazor app running in iOS, Android, and desktop. That's kind of cool, but it is a web app. And so like if you want something more native, I think there's a different way of doing that, and that's the way Xamarin was doing it. So
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, maybe that's something we should put a video out on. We should do a little...
yeah, we'll do something on that, so we make it a little bit more. And it's just really two different projects that you're going to run inside of Visual Studio 6. But it's still preview, man. Like I'm telling you, Big Out, that this is just in preview and people are already adopting this thing. So it's kind of crazy.
And just to go back to that's something we've never actually seen before too, right?
Not like this.
People have always been apprehensive, be like, oh man, it's in preview. Like, don't stay away from that. Let it be out like 6 months before you like touch it.
Yeah.
This feels very different.
Slow your roll there, cowboy.
Yeah. This feels very different. Yeah.
I think people have really, really, really seen the light of what they're trying to do. The innovation, there's true features to this. That's the other thing that's driving. It's not just popularity. There's true feature. People are saying, okay, that's cool. Like we've got to adopt that because that could really move the needle over here in my business. And I think that could really help us out. Performance, it's faster than lightning. I mean, like it's super fast. All of these things that they're putting into it makes it very compelling for enterprises to adopt. So I think it's going to be really cool, but it's a little bit confusing. They do name things badly. We'll try to reduce that confusing. As it gets closer, we'll start showing you maybe how to build the same app multiple ways and show you how that works. So I think that's a good thing that we can do.
Internally, we've been playing with
self-paced course out the door. Then we'll start building out things in Maui and Xamarin as it gets a little bit closer to what we would call GA, general availability. You know.
And we have been playing with it internally, building something. So it's
it's still kind of like you're still like downloading a lot of things, putting it all together. That's because it's in preview. But once it goes to a release candidate, we'll probably start constructing the courseware on it. So it'll be sometime this summer, later in the fall, maybe, hopefully before November.
Yeah. So Alantino, my friend, says, so excited for this course. I feel like it would be a perfect place to learn from the ground up. Also with a non-technical background, and thank you for the tacos. We appreciate it.
Tacos, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So it does start from zero. Like, so we do start at the very beginning with HTML. And like, we're even going through most of the tags that you'll see in HTML, like explaining what an A tag is, a div tag, and semantic programming and that kind of stuff. And then we move on to Bootstrap. And then we use Bootstrap through the course throughout the course. Because we just think that's the most widely used framework out there. And then we go to vanilla JavaScript. So we're not taking any opinion with jQuery. We're just saying we think vanilla JavaScript is the way to learn this, and we teach that. And how we teach that is by building projects. I do see a lot of courses where they're teaching you the fundamentals of coding utilizing JavaScript, and they never leave the console. Well, there's very few JavaScript programs that just run in the console. So our first project is actually showing you, okay, you know what? To use JavaScript, guess what we're doing? We're manipulating the DOM, which is the document object model, which is just basically, hey, I want to access elements on the page. That's the first thing you'll learn in our JavaScript course. So we show you the things that you need to know in order to do this for a living, instead of just staying at the high level architecture, you know, kind of like, hey, this is kind of like we have our thing of cognac over here, and we're kind of like talking about like web development in these abstract terms, you know.
Right.
Thoughts of the universe with Bobby and HTML. So no, we just get down to actually brass tacks, constructing things. We're more like the construction guy you go to and he says, hey man, can you build a house? And they'll say, here's a hammer.
Right.
Can you show me the ropes? Go put up 1,000 of these. This is how you do it. Go do that 1,000 times. I'll see you at lunch. You know, and so like so that's kind of what we're doing. It's repetition, build it, just code a lot, and then we're there to hold your hand along the way, show you the ropes. So
there you go. I don't know if you've used this yet. We haven't even talked about this yet, but I did see something on this. But thoughts on GitHub Co-pilot? You know anything about that?
Yeah, so this is their AI generated code. I haven't used it yet.
Yeah.
There's some stuff inside of Visual Studio that's doing the same thing in Visual Studio 6.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about the other day, weren't we? Like, man, this is like autocomplete on steroids. Oh, and there you go. They're more than autocomplete. It's one of their taglines. Look, same kind of thing.
Yeah, so like, we'll see. I mean, so it's kind of cool. It'll give you maybe some better algorithms for things. We'll see how it works. I mean, will it be in the way or will it really work? I don't know yet. Yeah. You know, I did answer a question on Twitter the other day. They were like, who owns the copyright if your GitHub Autopilot
creates your entire app for you?
You know, and then they're saying if it's learning on other repos, does that owner of the repo own the copyright and not you? And it seems like a valid question on the service, but I mean, copyright is code plus the idea. So I don't think you can copyright a for loop is what I was saying. Like,
right.
Just because they showed you the best way to write a for loop doesn't mean that they own the idea to, you know, your thing.
Guaranteed, if you start looking at the code behind a lot of websites, they're very, very, very similar. Yeah. You couldn't copyright the code behind it. Without
going into details, Kevin, you know that I have a lot of knowledge on this because like, I'm not an attorney on this stuff, but I've negotiated contracts based on this very topic, where the copyright holder is, who owns the copyright, who owns this, who owns that. So like, So I think that in general, you're going to be safe on that. You're writing the code, you're bringing intelligence, and unless you transfer that copyright to another human being, you own the copyright to that. So
right.
I think it's pretty safe there. I like it.
So got this real quick. I think you might have touched on this a little bit already, but on Indeed, .NET developer jobs, I've seen a lot of MVC, Web API, Angular, Azure. Not seeing anything Blazor, hardly anything Blazor.
I get it.
More effort into Angular,
I get it. It's the next year thing. I understand that, Troy. But so what I would do right now, what you need to focus on, I think if you already know React, focus on Web API. If you already know Angular, focus on Web API. If you don't know anything, I think you can see a lot of MVC jobs out there, and you can grab those MVC jobs. Definitely, whatever happens with Blazor, it's going to be running on Azure. I mean, so like you're going to have to know those kind of things. I do think Web API backends is going to be very, very popular. You're just going to see more and more of that front end being Blazor. That's what I think is going to happen. But that doesn't mean that React is dead or Angular is dead. I like it. I put it to one of my favorite receivers that played for the Carolina Panthers. Steve Smith said it best. The other guys playing are trying too. So like, when he says that, why can't you get 3 touchdowns a game? He says, well, those other guys are trying too. And so like, of course, Google is going to try to push Angular out. Facebook is, committed to React. So like all of these things are going to get you jobs. I just think you'll see it next year when Blazor .NET 6 hits and people are going to start doing it. I'm already talking to customers now that are converting over to Blazor. That's what they're doing. It just hasn't translated maybe into Indeed yet, but that's what they're hiring for. And the reason they don't put Blazor out there is because, there's very few people that have experience with it. They know that. So they're saying, oh, it's going to be Web API, maybe MVC. And then they come in and you're like, we're going to try to just build this out on Blazor.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody's done it yet. It's only a year and a half old. So I think it's going to be hot eventually.
There you go. Thanks for the question, Troy. MOB says, is there a recommended schedule for taking the course?
Yeah, I think here's my suggestion. As much blocks of time as you can do, that's how you do it. So I would say like that would mean like, hey, I'm going to code on Saturday and I'm doing it the entire Saturday or the entire weekend. That's how I do it. I think you're going to need hours at a time, not 30 minutes at a time, not bite-sized chunks. Even though you can watch a video on something that's only 45 minutes long, but really our videos are broken out into 45 minutes to an hour, but you chain them together and that's like 10 or 12 hours of content. So we're trying to like break down the video in sessions, but you're going to need 4 or 5 hours to code and do things. We don't want you to just copy it. We want you to actually try to create this stuff. So
yeah, somebody asked me about I think it was on Discord actually, about like the time commitment. It was on Discord, asking about the 500 to 600 kind of hours we recommend as like the amount of time it's going to take you to do it. And our explanation for that is that it's based on the people that are in our boot camp, and that's kind of how long it takes, and similar kind of content. So, and that's based on kind of, they're doing it over 12 weeks, like 8 hours, 9 hours a day. So that's what we've kind of based that on. So that's kind of where we're coming from in the figures. But it's not that there's going to be like 600 hours of video content and you just watch it. You actually have to do something.
You have to do
it's very practical in doing the work. You have to actually do the work. So, yeah. What's he say? Here's not attacker with a candle, the leg of the likes to the stream. Right.
Okay, smash that like button. Antonio said so. Smash the like button.
So Valentino is actually paid to tell you guys to smash the like button. So
smash it.
Help this guy out.
I think what we're doing, if we look at the leaderboard over there, he's trying to own that leaderboard. Look at that, man. I think
maybe I'm gonna leave that leaderboard up. No, but thank you for the super chat. Thank you for recommending that people hit the like
thank you. Please give us some likes. 36 likes. We got 103 people watching right now, so that's kind of cool.
I have to forget to tell people to hit the like button.
Yeah. So if you're watching right now, smash that like button.
We would love that. So Quicks wants to know programming patterns you think everyone should know.
So right now, currently, we're teaching a programming pattern called MVC, Model View Controller. We think that's a really good pattern to know right now. We also, inside of that, with .NET 5 and going forward, dependency injection or inversion of control. We use interfaces and dependency injection for that. Those are the kind of main patterns we're showing right now currently in the course. So like we like those. I'm sure there's others that I'm missing, I'm not thinking about, but like I do think that when the .NET framework, those patterns are enforced through the way things are built. And I think that's a very valid approach. You learn by doing, not necessarily trying to like implement the pattern. Then we see patterns enforced through the way the projects are constructed. So views are in a certain place, controllers are in a certain place, models are in a certain place, and you have to do this to get it to work. And so we teach it as a pattern, but it's really just how they're enforcing the pattern with the tooling and the projects. So I like that. So, and if you want to build a service, you better know about inversion of control. And services are kind of a big deal in .NET 5. So,
okay, let's do a course question from our friend MSV. So he wants to know, for anyone new to the online bootcamp, what's the price to them? Will you run any sales like Black Friday? I bought it but asking for a friend. So I will guarantee you this: we will never offer it as low as the price that we launched with. Never. It'll never be $129 again. I can guarantee you that.
Nah.
I can also say that we're not saying that we won't ever run a sale, but I'm saying that the sale also won't be $229.
Yeah.
We may just do a discount. It'll always be monthly. We may just do a discount for month. We're thinking like we may do like 89, 79, something like that. It's not going to be a massive. It's not going to be like it is at launch. We're just not going to do that.
Right.
It's predominantly going to be $99 a month, unless we see that nobody buys it for some strange reason. And we've totally just thought like this is just totally wrong, which we don't think is true. We think it's worth way more.
I think we're providing extreme value over $15,000. I mean, like you're looking at it's $1,200 a year. You should be able to go through in a year. Plus, we're going to continue add to it like you would if you're a subscription to Pluralsight. So, like, we just think that that's a big deal. So we're just going to stay with it and roll it out. I don't see it happening anytime next year because we'll just continue to sell our bootcamp out and give it to our students. But like, we're not going to. It's not going to be $129 or $229 ever again.
Yep.
Yep.
We can guarantee you that. I see some new people here asking questions too, which is awesome.
Okay, cool. Let's
Thank
get
you
some
for hanging out with us. I'm going to
newbies in.
Some new names that I see here. Yeah. Jeremy here.
Classy California. Is that what that means?
I don't know. Could be
Classy CA. All right, cool.
I don't know. But Jeremy 17, that's awesome. Says, can I learn web dev and game dev? So he wants to do Unity at the same time.
You know what? No. Could you? Yeah. Are they different skills? Yes.
Is this because like people see like, oh, it's C#, therefore I can just learn both at the same time? Is that kind of the feeling?
No, there's a lot.
The tooling's very, very different, right?
Yeah, so there's a lot to game dev for as like how you build the front end of that. That's the whole like 3D modeling and like all those kind of things in the event, the game loop, and understand how that works is different than how we build websites. That's a different paradigm altogether, and they're not really even really familiar. Other than that, the C# is the same language back there. Now, once you know C#, it's easier to break into that because now you just need to understand the game part of it, how our game's built, and you're not learning the language. That's why we say C# is good to know, because now you can be like, oh, I understand that. I know what an if statement is. I know what a switch statement is. I know how to do that. I know how to consume objects. I understand that part of it. I just need to know how to build games. I would say Jeremy, or I think it's Jeremy or Jerome. I'm not sure how to say that, but like, I would say that I would focus on one or the other. What do you want to build? If you want to build games because you're 17 and you like playing games, you like to know how that works, build games. If you want a job, at 18, 19 or 20, web dev is easier to break into than game development. However, if you want to break into game dev, I advise you to build a game and try to put it on Steam, which you can do as an indie, and see if you can get people to download it, make it free or make it $2 or whatever, and then see what you can do. Because if you shipped a game and then you apply at a company, your chances go up dramatically of getting hired. So if you want to do that as a career, if it's just for fun, I don't know, pick the one that you want to do the most and learn that. I would pick one or the other though. Hope that helps.
Yep. AJ wants to know last date to hop in on the discount sale. Definitely through launch day. We may run it a few days past. We may run it a week past. I'm not quite sure. We haven't really decided yet, but 100% guaranteed through launch day. And sometime shortly thereafter, we will drop that. So we haven't put an exact date on it, but definitely through launch day. Definitely through the 6th.
Yeah, we'll tell you Tuesday how long it's going to last to give you time. Yeah. But definitely Tuesday, $229 on Tuesday. And then shortly thereafter, we'll change it over to $99 a month.
Yep.
So, but after that, that's the last date. So,
and then the next sale, Black Friday, maybe I'll give
Black Friday.
Maybe it's $98 a month. I don't know.
99.
I don't know. We haven't talked about sales at all. So that's still,
we're just trying to get the course out, put it in your hands, and it's going to be a way off anyway. So invest in your career, invest in you, and $229 is the best way to do that. I mean, like, it's a big deal.
Yep. So Joe wants to know, the self-paced bootcamp covers generating Word file and PDF at some point.
I don't know. I mean, that's pretty specific. It sounds like that's something you need to do today. So, like, you could probably Google that.
That's not super difficult to do, though, right?
PDF part. PDFs can be if you're trying to do it like straight from the get-go. But there's a company out there called Expose that has a .NET wrapper around creating PDFs. So.
This is what we talked about the other week, right? We talked about this on the other live. I remember talking about that now. Yeah.
So that's usually solved through libraries and not necessarily something we would teach on. So we're teaching you how to build a website, not necessarily like these very specific Stack Overflow type answers.
Right.
So I'm sure there's plenty of stuff out there.
I've definitely seen
a Word file would be very difficult. I would more lean around generate a PDF and then convert to Word or something like that. And all that stuff is going to be hit and miss no matter what.
I've seen students' bug trackers add those exports in before. They've done an export to Excel. I remember seeing that before. That was cool.
Those are easier if you have like common limited data.
Right.
That's easier. Word files just kind of
Word files don't work between a PC and a Mac, and you're actually running Word on both machines. They look different.
Yeah.
It's
so in general, what I would say, Joe, if I'm generating documents from my system, I'm definitely generating a PDF because that's more easier to get that more consistent. I'm not generating words. The only way you really can generate a really good Word document is open up Word and type it. So create it. Just start making it. But there's some converters out there that I would use a library to convert
it. Do a couple more here.
Cool.
So By Grace says, hi, a friend of mine wants to learn coding. I'm 45 and not really computer savvy. So I'm guessing you're saying you can't offer them advice.
So a friend of mine wants me to learn coding. I'm 45 and not really computer savvy. Okay, so here's what you can do. You're probably wondering, can I do this?
Well, don't let the age be a thing to start off with.
Don't let the age, number one. That's crazy. If you've let the age do it, the answer is no. But get past that in your brain that I can learn this at 45. Take our developer quiz and then see if you score fairly high on that. And that tells you, do you think in terms of patterns? And then if let's say you get a low score, I still wouldn't quit there. You wouldn't get into our boot camp, but you're not asking about that. Can I learn coding? And then from there, you could take an HTML course to see if you can build HTML documents. And then if you have fun doing it, maybe you can move on from there. And it may take you longer than others. I don't know. You may be a genius and it take you 3 months. I mean, but like you can definitely learn it if you set your mind to it. It's something learnable. And not everyone can do it, but more than we think can. And then, so you just try it. Jump in there, man. Just try it out. Hope that helps.
Okay. Big Ol wants to know, is the Q&A video going to be during business hours? And then somebody also said
that's when we're working
about international students. But yes, it's probably going to be during US business hours are going to be the webinars.
I think we're going to target the first one 3 p.m. on a Friday. They'll be on Fridays, and we'll do them at the end of the week, so 3 p.m.
Yeah, which means it's in the evening for like everybody.
West Coast time, 3 p.m. East Coast time. In between that like extended lunch hour, on a Friday, and we'll see what the demand is for going forward and how that works. If you're overseas, that live could be. If you're in Australia, obviously that's on the opposite. And I think it's 12 hours difference or something like that, or whatever it is.
Yeah, we're also going to make the latest one available too, so you can like watch it back. That's kind of
can at least watch it back and see the questions. And typically how this works is if you pay attention, there's going to be so many people in there. They're probably asking the same question you have. It may not be the specific line of code that you have or like, but you'll start understanding like, oh, okay, that's exactly what happened to me.
Yep. Here's a really high level question for you. But Abdelusian, I hope I said that correctly. I love the logo, by the way. That's cool. I like that.
That's kind of nifty.
I had a question. So Abdelusian is a beginner to C# and want to know how C# differs from HTML.
So HTML is a markup language. So you mark up things and it describes an HTML document. And where C# is a general purpose programming language. So it has concepts of things like loops, variables, switch statements. So I'm not saying HTML is not a programming language. What I'm saying, they're different.
Don't
they
go
do
down
different
that road.
things. I know the internet just blew up. So in order to build a web page, the way that you construct a web page has to be done in HTML. However you get there, at the end of the day, whether you're generating it and doing whatever, HTML, and that involves a head tag, or HTML tag, head tag, body tag. So those are the kind of the three main tags, and that describes the structure of your document. C#
structure plus the content, isn't it?
Yeah, C# is if you need to do something where you need to have a logical decision about something, so like how do I want to make this blue. What's the case for make it blue? And you have an if statement. If number equals 1, make this blue, else make it red, something like that. So that's where you'd have if statements, loops. And so without getting into detail, what makes a programming language different from HTML? It's just it's a general purpose programming language, whereas HTML is more of a markup language. So what I say in this thing is HTML a programming language. I always say it's not important that you can say, is it Turing complete and all that kind of crap. But my point is always try building a website without HTML and get back to me. So I'm not saying that
skill.
It's a necessary skill. And the other thing is I would say is, can you build a web page without C#? 100%. Yes, you can. All day long. You can do it all. You can build everything with HTML. You can brute force the entire thing. So you need HTML and probably CSS to make a modern website. If you want to use some kind of like grid layout, you need CSS to do that. So those two things have to go together. That's the foundation of the web. Then you probably need JavaScript because that's the only language, well, WebAssembly now is coming around, that runs in the browser itself. So if you want to manipulate the DOM, in other words, pull an input out of a input, see what the person did, detect if they click the button, process a contact form on the back end on the server, you need JavaScript to do that. But then once it goes into like business logic, I want to hit a database, that's where C# comes in. And then we very quickly move from a static website that's a brochureware into a site that's processing inventory or sales. And then we need languages like C# and SQL on the back end. So that's kind of the difference. Hope that helps.
There you go. Before we get going here, there's one thing. Next week, we're going to have a guest.
Yeah.
We're going to have a guest. I'm going to show this, but I'm going to show this tweet from yesterday. Was it yesterday? It was yesterday. Yeah. It was first today. It was the 30th. Yeah. And it I had to answer this tweet when I saw it. So Cam Perry is going to come on next week. He's actually going to run a cool little competition. Like a little coding competition. We're going to have him come on and talk about it, and he's a dev, and he's going to come on and talk about competition. It's going to be interesting. But he put out this tweet yesterday. So he just seen someone say that junior devs shouldn't make technical posts on LinkedIn. And obviously his conclusion to that is that it's wild. We have the same conclusion. We literally tell people that come to Bootcamp, like, post your stuff
Post on LinkedIn.
There. Post on LinkedIn. Make your technical post, make a blog, make about these things, and teach it. And my answer to this was just gatekeepers everywhere. Because that's
my answer is snarky. Mine was like some senior shouldn't make social media posts. They shouldn't do it. Because this guy got killed for doing this.
Yeah, crazy.
He just got destroyed.
I mean, like craziness.
My point is, man, he's saying that, he keeps reading all this wrong information on the internet, and therefore it sounds like he's like the knowledge of everything coding. In other words, like this senior, he knows everything.
Right.
But I can't tell you, I don't know. multiple times I'll get on Stack Overflow and someone has the thing checked or whatever, and you're like, man, that's completely wrong. Like you're crazy. That's not right. And so like, so like we all push things out there and learn in public. And I think that we should all practice writing. And our goal is, as a junior dev or if a senior, is when we write something that it's accurate. I can tell you, when I put something in writing a post, you do get fear, like what if something's wrong or someone finds like a technical discussion about it. And I've gotten really over that. And you say, there's always 21 ways to skin a cat, but like, dude, if you want to write about MVC, a model, or you want to write about loops, or you want to write about whatever you want to write, just try to make it as accurate as possible and write about it.
Yeah. There's always somebody behind you that knows less than you that could use your view on something. I don't get that mentality at all. Like I said, gatekeeping at its finest / worst. Like,
and Twitter is really kind of bad about this. Like I saw some guy write a thing about cryptography, and like he was like how to make secure passwords, and clearly it was wrong. I mean, like, it's clearly wrong. You don't do that. But man, they killed this kid for doing it. It's just like, you can point it out nicely, or and they were saying that he was spreading misinformation. And I'm like, well, no, there's misinformation is when you knowingly do something to like change the opinion on it.
Right.
And maybe that's what he's doing. He's trying to make insecure passwords so he can hack people. I don't think that's the case. I just think he was wrong.
Yes, an ulterior motive.
It's so that the Russian guy that's dealing in ransomwares wants you to get this way to code this. But for most serious cryptographers and people that enter in security know that it's inaccurate. But the way they just destroyed this kid was crazy. It's just kind of like,
that's the internet.
Wow, that's harsh.
Right? I mean, that's the internet. It's a rough place.
And he was wrong. I mean, I'm not saying he wasn't wrong, and I'm not saying that the person that responded wasn't right. I mean, they are right.
That shouldn't stop you from putting stuff out there.
No, really don't push it out there, man. Learn from your mistakes and move on.
Exactly, especially something that's simple too. Like if let's say if you push an article out that's technical about like an HTML tag or something, like. You can do the research, you can put your spin on it, you can put your usage case on it. I mean, chances are it's going to be right. Just because you're a junior and don't know everything about everything does not mean that you should not write that article.
Yeah.
Like, you totally should. There's somebody else who doesn't understand that you can actually help. I don't get that gatekeeper mentality.
I mean, I tweeted on the details tag. I thought that was amazing. Little drop down thing.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, Cam's going to come on next week and talk about this cool competition that he's going to run, which I think is super interesting. You guys are going to be able to enter, I think. He's going to have this cool idea. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. We'll talk to him probably next Thursday, I think.
Sounds cool. Hey, smash the like button. We're going to get out here and go spend our taco money. Get that 3 burrito plate. Appreciate all the super chat today. Chris and Antonio, you guys are amazing. Thank you for super chatting. Thank you for all the recent members. And, hey, over the next weekend, if you want to learn how to code, we really believe this is the best deal on the planet right now. We do think that you're really going to love this course. However, we also probably have one of the most forgiving refund policies out there. You can look at this thing for 15 days, and if we're full of crap, you can just get your money back, no questions asked. You can ask anybody, anyone that's asked for a refund because it took us too long to get it out. We refund everybody. We're not here to for a cash grab. We're here to teach.
I think I might have refunded 10 people maybe or something.
Yeah, like 10 people. But maybe we do get some emails from people and they're worried about it. You can tell one guy wrote in and said, and if you don't refund my money, I'm going to do this and this and this. And we're like, dude, just
I forgot about that one. I had the one email is just like, if I don't, I'm like, dude, just ask. Like, it's fine. Like, seriously, I had one today. I literally had one today. I really did. I had one today, and I was like, okay, that's fine, no problem. Like, I just email back, refund process. Like, I don't. Yeah, I don't ask. I don't if you want, that's okay.
So our commitment is to be a really good citizen in the world. I mean, that's what we're trying to do. And so, if we're not providing you value, we're going to refund your money. So, you get 15 days to look at it. It's a good deal. We think that the content will live up to that, the hope and trust you put into us. And then we'll just continue to create good content for you here on the YouTube channel. Once this is released, we got other plans to start giving away some more coding stuff on the channel itself that's free, that's outside the course. You may see us offer some live coding. We've been banging that around, like should we revive that on Twitch and those kind of things. So you'll see other things coming from us on the YouTube channel, but we've just been absolutely consumed doing this. This is all we can do right now as a company, just get this thing out the door. So all right, cool. Good luck, guys. Keep coding. We'll see you next Tuesday on launch day.
Yes,
hope to see you there. Hope you're all coding away, but break away for an hour to come hang out with us next Tuesday at noon. We'll see you later.
We'll see you guys later.
Good luck, guys. See you.